I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself and how I got to where I am and how I'm coping with my everyday life. I had a childhood, and I know many of you haven't, but I did. And I have lipedema, lymphedema, venous insufficiency, and I know it's hard to tell, but I also struggle with obesity. So my childhood was pretty fair, getting made fun of and all that jazz, mostly in the teen years after I developed. I never knew really what that was about. God, you're so fat, your fat butt. And I'm like, yeah. And like, okay, your point, So I was kind of gifted with that type of attitude. I mean, a lot of things sting when they say bad things. Mean, the more immature, younger years, was, dealt with that. I got married, and 6 months into that, I had a gastric bypass. Now, this is 32 years ago. There was no bariatric lipos, it was barbaric. I was in the hospital for 10 days, tubes coming out of every orifice. It was really new, and I lost a lot of weight. Over my adult years, I've gained and lost 100 pounds 3 times. Pretty yo-yo here. I think a lot of it is that we lose the weight and we still are giant from down. And we're like, what's the use? That was kind of what happened to me. I was mostly able to maintain my regular adult weight where I felt comfortable and it was easy to maintain, was 280 pounds. Like, that is my normal weight. When I diet, I'd get down to 250, but I didn't stay there long. And I think that's mostly from the legs weighing so much. 6 years ago, I landed my dream job. I had a lot of trouble at home. We had a troubled teen. I had 2 boys at the time. And then we thought, since we're having so many problems and stuff, that we'd adopt a child. Yeah, and so we did, a little baby. I got 2 teenagers, and one's on his way to prison, and now I got, whatever. So we did that. He's now 10. So 6 years ago, I landed my dream job. I've always worked and had all the stress at home, plus, new child in the house. And as I was working, I wore normal clothes. I was my, 250 to 280, pants, whatever, suits. I always had to have my clothes custom made, my pants, since I was young. I was fortunate my mom took up sewing, so she could help me out in that capacity so I could feel halfway normal and stylish. Let's see. So when I was working, I remained active all those years, went swimming with my kids, that type of thing. And, people take a double take because, you got these giant legs flopping around at the water park and stuff. And I kind of get that because, if you see someone without a limb or something, kind of look and then, oh, okay. Never really bothered me. Children will come up to me and say, what happened to your legs? I'd say, I'm not really sure, but aren't they big? And they're like, yeah, and then they dive in the pool. So I think if we don't make a big deal about it, nobody else is. So when I was working then, about 6 years ago, at this dream job, my home life is crazy, I went through menopause. I had no menopausal symptoms, except for my legs were getting so big. I could hardly, now it's always been a tight squeeze. I've always had the saddlebags, but I could hardly fit into the office chair anymore. I gained 100 pounds in 2 years. Nothing changed up here. My legs went crazy. Calves all the way up. It was horrible. I was horrified, didn't know what was wrong. Went on lots of diets, the juicing, all that stuff. Nothing really worked. And I'd always lose weight up here, lose my boobs first, got bones sticking out of my back and my front, and giant legs. So it almost makes you look worse, like, at least with being obese, I'm a little more proportioned. I'm not using it as an excuse, but I just thought of that. So over that time, my legs became weaker. They were already, not strong, and I remained active, all that stuff, weaker and weaker. I bought a recumbent bike, thought that might work real good. Yeah, no, it didn't. Sold the recumbent bike because that wasn't helping. And like I told you, I always had my pants custom made, mostly because I'm so tall. Like, you go into Lane Bryant, you buy some pants. They were always capris on me, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing the capri, Hardly ever I could find, tall. So I always had a seamstress on hand. I've always had one. I had my clothes made. This dress, seamstress. She made it last week. It doesn't really cost that much more, but if that's something that, you struggle with clothing and finding something that you're comfortable in, I would highly suggest that. A lot of times, too, if I get a jacket, she'll gusset it up here so it'll lay right and not be like giant opening, in the bottom and then fit you great up here. Some of you, that's not important, but to me it was, especially working. 3 years ago, my legs had grown so much, I had to go to skirts. The pant thing was not working for me. My legs had gotten so big, even having them custom made, it was icky. Just looked silly. So I have worn skirts or dresses for 3 years, and I saved my pants, hopefully that I can get into them, but I'm kind of losing hope at this point. I also went to sensible shoes at that point because there are no heels. It was killing me. They had to go, and I missed that too. Let's see. In 2011, I went to a kind of a venous surgery to see if I could have some of my varicose veins, kind of removed. My girlfriends were doing it. And the gal looked at me and said, yeah, no, I couldn't do that on you because I would never cut into that lipedema. Now, I had been diagnosed with lymphedema in my 20s and have always worn compression. And my doctor got me one of those sequential pumps, and I've always just had that on my chart. And I've struggled with phlebitis and blood clots over the years. So I knew about the lymphedema thing. But when she said that, I go, lipedema, she went right to her computer and she brought it up and showed me the different stages and that type of thing. And I was like, whoa, really? That's cool, I guess. I'm just glad to have a name, I guess. And so I said, okay, it's got a name. See ya. I didn't really look into anything at that point. I was forced into retirement at the age of 53 because I really was so large, the size I am now, and my legs were so painful. I couldn't go upstairs. They could see I was struggling. I had to retire. That was probably one of the lowest times in my life. I've always worked. Now what? What do I do with my life? How do I have an income? I'm married, but still, it was rough. Very hard pill to swallow. Since I had that time, I looked into research, this lipedema thing. I joined the Facebook group, and that was life-changing. Because as I was researching, I came on to that. And then I learned a lot, like, oh, there's all these other bimbos out there that have this, So, talk to you guys, see what y'all had to say, see what you're doing about your thing, your lipedema. 2014, I went to Mayo Clinic twice. It was really not helpful, which is ironic because they are the ones that discovered lipedema in 1940 and said, oh, this is a thing, and stuck it away. So they weren't really helpful, 2 trips there saying, they didn't really know much about lipedema. They did know about lymphedema, and they put me in these wraps, and you gotta walk like that, and no. Okay, so that didn't work. I got the wraps if anybody wants them, because they ain't going back on these legs again. Those of you that can wear them, God bless you, but not this girl. Then in 2015, I was fortunate enough to see Dr. Karen Herbst. Went to Tucson, did that gig, and she's like, whoa, I dropped my drawers, and she's, I thought that's what you did. She goes, no, get in the room first, not in the hallway, Okay, So, saw her, and yeah, she was like, oh my God, you need surgery. And she was just horrified by what she saw, and did her little finger. I'm like, yeah, you can just tell by, So she did that, spent a lot of time with me, ordered a Flexi Touch for me. When that monster showed up, I'm like, you people gotta be kidding me. I'm gonna strap myself into that for 2 hours a day. Yeah, that was rough. And I'm not as compliant as I should be with that. I've always been compliant with the compression because I had the lymphedema so early. I've also been fortunate because then I was able to see what y'all had done, and then Dr. Buck came on the scene, and he's close to where I live, and he's cute, So I went to him, and he performed surgery on me 6 weeks ago. So I'm 6 weeks out of front thigh, I guess. Yeah, thank you. Thank him. So yeah, I still have my post-op thing on. This thing is, zippers, the straps go over, it goes up, yeah, cute. So comfortable, yeah, okay. It's, I learned a lot along that way. He's very accommodating, and his staff was nice, and that was cool. Now, I hope to have more in the future. But, I was fortunate enough, again, I've been very favored, that my insurance covered it. And I know that is a huge struggle. So now I'm waiting for my second one to hopefully be approved. I kind of want to leave you with kind of 10 steps I just came up with when I was sitting over there. My mind was going numb with all the information coming at me. Some of the things that have helped me progressing this far, that rapidly, and that recently. Learning to accept your disease. That's rough. But I did, and you can too. It's what we have. It's what happened is what we have. Accept it and move on. And when you move on, you need to fight the disease. You need to work on all the treatments you can find, the supplements, things we heard about this morning and we've heard about before. Compression, that horrible Flexi Touch thing. I swim a few mornings a week, and I do these band things you hang around your ankles and try not to fall over, and that type of thing. It helps. It helps keep you not stiff. It helps get you out. It is soothing, refreshing. I would, recommend the swimming thing. It's not hard on your joints, that type of thing. Trying to get the swimsuit on and off. Yeah, no, okay. Workout right there. But then I would suggest, number 3, is that you network. Learn, learn, learn. Research, research, research. You have to be your own advocate with this thing called lipedema. It's new. We just got a medical code for it. People are advocating all over to make us more aware of what the heck is going on with ours and 11% of the population's body. So learn about it. Educate your family and friends too. A lot of them don't believe you, and they're like, yeah, you're just fat, shut up. But the more we try to educate them and say, yeah, my legs, see, that's different than, they might. Give them a little pamphlet, send them a link on the email. They can read it or not. But do your part to educate your friends and family, because it'll help if they understand a little bit of what you're going through. Hello? Hello? Okay, not for me? Okay. And I already said the stay active. I didn't mean educate your family now. Just wait till later. Okay. Leave a message. Okay. All right, now, do not isolate. It is so easy. And I read on the Facebook page, like, people are, basically like bedridden or, like in a wheelchair and don't have anybody to push them around or, it's bad when you get up there in the progression. And, it happened to me so fast, and I was like, oh, I can hardly walk, And then going to Target, I'm holding onto the cart like that, you're laying on it, and you're going, the husband's way up there, and I'm like, what the, I'm not springing along like I was, throwing the stuff in. And that's hard. Swallow your pride. Get on the damn scooter, okay? If you need to, if you're 3 or 4 and you can't go through the grocery store or the Target, swallow your pride. Ask for help. Ask your neighbor, hey, when you go to the store, can I just give you a little list? Don't take advantage and give them a scroll with the whole thing, But, the few basics. Asking for help is the hardest thing because I'm in control. And I take care of the home, I take care of you, so that was rough. But once you start doing it, you see other people like helping you. It makes them feel good to be able to do something for you. And I want to remind you, too, do stuff for others. It's easy when you get sick, like we are, oftentimes with our disease, to be self-absorbed. Poor me. I can't believe it's happening to me. Oh, God. And, that's not serving you well. I've never been that type of person, and I know that's a gift. Just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Well, I can't wear boots, but you know what I'm saying. And kind of just keep moving forward. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay isolated. Write a card. If you can't get out and go visit shut-ins or a friend for coffee or something, write them a card and let them know you're thinking about them. Don't think about how people aren't coming to see you, aren't calling you to go anymore. I'm a theater person. I was singing and dancing on the stage 5 years ago. Well, that ain't happening, anymore. But I have 4 tickets to theater groups, and guess what? I can't fit in any of the chairs anymore. Talk about embarrassing. And I always go with like a whole slew of people, groups, and I just get my special chair. I call ahead. It has to be armless. I kind of sit in the aisle or, where a wheelchair might go or something. And I'm this high, and I'm tall already. So and then everybody's sitting in the seats next to me. You can make it work. You can keep getting out. You can, with any limitations, ask for help. If you're in a wheelchair, have your friends push you down the aisle. Not all the way down, They can get a little crazy, Make sure they don't have to be drinks ahead of time, but they can help. And don't be afraid to ask them. But for me to ask for a special chair, oh boy. But once I did it, everybody's so accommodating. It's like not a problem. Oh, okay. And a lot of times, standing up, they're like, extra chair for what? Well, when you sit down, you spread out about 7.5 inches. So, oh, I see. Okay. So, yeah, give me the chair. And everybody understands, even if they don't. not my problem. I need to ask for help. I need to do what I can do to make myself comfortable. And because I want to stay active. Another thing is be grateful. How many of us are going to dialysis 5 days a week? How many of us have lost limbs? We're still beautiful, smart. Yeah. And, we've got our lives. If you have families, careers, look at the stuff we still have. It could be so much worse. I don't care who you are. It can be so much worse. Please be grateful when you wake up and you can get out of the bed. That's a thing right there. I'm holding on to, the dresser and then making my way to the bathroom. And you can get up, you can walk. If you can urinate by yourself, that's it could be worse. And that's been really important. Be grateful and set yourself out there to help others. Don't stay in your own stuff. Help others. Another thing is, I already mentioned, you need to have a seamstress in your back pocket. I don't have a lot of clothes because I don't like a lot of stuff. I went to Sensible Shoes. I got them in white, black, and taupe. That's it. I'm good. I have a few dresses, a couple shrugs, a couple scarves. Keep it simple. At least for me, I needed to simplify my life because it was all getting overwhelming. Cleaning the house, doing my things that I could do before. It was overwhelming to me, and it was really bringing me down. So I asked for help, and I simplified, and I mean simplified. So dress how you're comfortable. Be comfortable. And you don't have to dress icky if you don't want to. If you like, wearing your jogging suit out, do it. If you feel comfortable in that, do it. I just started wearing makeup in December. Doesn't it look good? Come on. Come on, people. So that was I watched tutorials. I'm like, what are they doing, and how they do that and stuff. Oh, yeah, I learned how to do it, and I practiced. I looked like the Joker for a while, trying to lip liner up here, and eyebrows are black, But it was kind of fun. It was kind of a hobby, trying to learn how to do that. Got a vanity and one of those magnifying mirrors. Those are scary. Yeah, but do that in whatever it does to make you feel good. Get a hairstyle. Get some clothes that you feel good about yourself. And you don't have to buy a whole new wardrobe. You don't have just a few pieces that if you get invited to a wedding or a baseball game, you have something that you feel comfortable in, you feel good in. And as women, you feel pretty in. You don't have to be, movie star. Just feel good about yourself. Something can help you feel good when you walk in the room. Go up and introduce yourself to somebody and feel good about yourself. It helps your confidence. It just makes you feel good. And it's really helped me, And the last point I really want to make, and then I'll take some questions, is that right? Okay, is you are not lipedema. We have lipedema. You are not your disease. If you have cancer, you have cancer. You are not cancer. Please do not let this disease define you. Don't let your weight, don't let, anything, you can choose what defines you. And if you let this disease define you, that's all you're going to talk about, that's all you're going to think about, it really brings you down. But you are not, it's just something we have. Deal with it. We're learning how to deal with it. And move on. Everybody has a cross to bear. Everybody has something. deal with it the best you can. Dress this crap the best you can. And, put some lip liner on. Watch a tutorial first. Yeah, because that could be really bad. Get a new hairstyle. I don't care. Whatever you want to try that might make you feel good. Don't bring up lipedema. Don't talk about how I've got lipedema. You might have lipedema too. I know we want to educate others and help, but the more we talk about ourselves like that and get into ourselves and our illness, it kind of defines who you are. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister. That's what we are. We're a worker. We're a loser. No, kidding. Define yourself. You choose how you want to be defined. And I'm hoping lipedema is not defining you. It's a disease. It leads to other illnesses. It can be debilitating, very limiting, that I've found out recently. But I have it. Got to deal with it. We all have something, and something more might come up. Got to learn to deal with it, but not let it define you. That is pretty much all I have.